Hello and welcome to Azure Tracks. I'm Andrew Lowe's, and with me today is Ryan McKay. How are you doing this beautiful day?
I'm doing awesome, Andrew. It's absolutely wonderful outside and got a lot of fun outside time today. How are you
I'm
doing?
doing amazing. So we've had some really cool kind of tidbits. Hasn't been a huge number of updates, of course, with Microsoft Ignite coming down the pipeline very soon, but we do have some important things. We've talked a lot about different versions of various PowerShell modules over the last few years, but in
hmm
particular, near and dear to our hearts, of course, is Exchange Online PowerShell module, mostly because we kind of spent a lot of time in there. And we now have version 3. It's actually been kind of out for a while, but there's been some recent updates to it. Actually, just September 20th and 21st, they were released of 2022, if I can get the year right. Um, but we have lots to talk about with it. So I know not the least of which, of course, is the tie-in to a very timely topic for end of September or October 1st of this year, which is modern authentication.
Yeah, absolutely. With the deprecation of basic authentication comes the need for tooling and whatnot that uses modern authentication, and that is what we have with the Exchange PowerShell Module
Awesome.
3.0.
Let's run the intro here, and then we'll dive in and let's take a look at how cool modern authentication can be. And we're back. So we know with EXO PowerShell module version 3 that we can kind of leave that basic authentication piece in the past where we had to make a couple of bypasses on the local machine. We had to kind of count on just, can we connect? Is MFA involved? How complicated is this going to be? It worked, but it was one of my favorite words, a little bit kludgy. Now, version 3 has cleaned that up. And again, it's been out for a little bit, right? But we've been using it for a while. But now the older versions are going away. Certainly, basic auth is going away. And we have to use modern authentication. So now everything works seamlessly with multi factor authentication. And we don't have to worry about those insecure protocols or plain text passwords and things like that anymore, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And in a previous podcast, Andrew and I spoke about the deprecation of basic authentication. And now with that coming, effective October 1st, 2022, you're going to need tooling that is relying 100% on modern authentication. And what that has afforded us is this new tool, the version 3 module of all the PowerShell commands for Exchange Online, which is built, from the ground up using the modern commandlets have been updated to use the REST-based commandlets, and of course, all of that is more secure, more reliable, the better performance. And of course, with those commandlets and with the module itself relying on modern authentication, we're able to move forward from that change with the deprecation of BASIC on October 1st.
Exactly. So, as we kind of cruise through some of the information in the Microsoft Learn documentation for the PowerShell module, we can see it's very simple to start your connection, and you're enabling
Mhm.
the error reporting as part of that connection string now. So it's really really critical that you do things like this. Just get into that good habit, right? Those logs are super useful when you need them, and it's easy to just have them auto expire or just simply delete them when you're done. The other
Yeah,
yeah, and the
absolutely.
other thing was just the number of commands that we have available to us in the V3 EXO module. it's huge, right? There's a lot of flexibility. We can do almost everything that we need to do in PowerShell.
Yeah, and we've spoken about the different commandlets that have been released in version
Mm-hmm.
2 of the module versus version 1, and they were optimized commandlets for various tasks such as what's on your screen. But now, not only are they optimized for performance, they're now being optimized, for the security
Exactly.
aspect and relying on that REST API commandlet with built-in support for modern auth. So really, really kind of buttoning it all into one package, and then the sky's the limit for how they're going to be able to move forward from this
I
point
think
on.
so too. It really opens a lot of positive opportunities in the future. And what we're showing here now, this page is actually the PowerShell Gallery, if you're not familiar with this. So, the thing I love about PowerShell Gallery is how clean it is, first of all. But they always
Mhm.
give you your installation command for PowerShell. So, you can download the module, you can do whatever you need to do. If you have an offline environment, you can grab it and take it offline and make sure
Mhm.
you're, of course, whatever various security departments and folks approve that, and then bring it into your environment once it's approved and ready. But it gives you the versions and the date they were released.
That's a lot of downloads in 4 days. That's pretty
All
impressive.
right. So
You and I make it
yeah,
too,
so
huh?
we're
Those
giving away
4 days.
when we record this one a little bit, but that's okay. We don't mind that. We totally record a little bit in advance and schedule things because we believe in automation, right?
Absolutely.
So, Mr. McKay, we've covered the improved security. We've talked about a number of different facets around the commandlets available in the new module. Let's talk about how we actually use it in reality. So, I made a statement actually that we can do almost everything that we need to do in the PowerShell module. But from an automation perspective, just to tie it in, I know you and I have done a lot of migrations over the years together. And one of the
Mm.
things that we kind of, we do that good back and forth to play to both of our strengths, but we have a fully automated process to be able to do that now. So we get in, we get the batches set, we get everything moving, and then we really lean on PowerShell to do all of our heavy lifting, but we still do use the Exchange GUI to go in and just take a quick peek sometimes. So I don't, well, I shouldn't say we. I know I still do that once in a while. So I guess what my question is tell me what you actually really like about the graphical piece of Exchange Online that you still rely on today.
Yeah, I rely on and again, with the deprecation of the legacy old Exchange admin console, it still actually exists a little bit in the background, but I've been really spending a lot of time in the new Exchange admin
Mm,
console. And what I particularly pop into there a lot for is, I can send reports, with the output of a PowerShell command, but those reports aren't necessarily as pretty or as worthy of displaying to the leadership, right? So I do find myself in there quite a bit to this day, simply because the GUI just kind of has that sort of eye pleasing, if you will, interface, that works for reporting. Apart from that, as Andrew pointed out, a lot of the actual under the hood work that we do during migrations is done, with the PowerShell scripts, importing CSVs, executing commands against multiple mailboxes in a CSV, and going from there.
exactly, exactly. So for me, actually, and thank you, by the way, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Well, maybe a little bit, right? But a
Yeah, you
little bit.
did.
I did it anyways. But I actually liked hearing your answer about that because I also use that, the graphical exchange admin interface to be able to visualize things. And like you say, it does need to be clear, concise, but also appealing to the eye to be, you screen
Hmm.
capture output of a report or status, like, hey, this is how these mailboxes are doing. It's nice and visual. For you and I, we're happy with command line. Many admins don't care so much. But managers tend to want something a bit more graphical, easier to look at
Absolutely.
and read quickly, right?
Absolutely, and that's what kind of separates the process that Andrew and I will follow during a migration versus, just kind of throwing a tool at a problem or using, a third party tool. It might do the job, but it lacks sort of that under the hood understanding that Andrew and I have, and the ability to customize the solution for the client. So
Exactly.
that brings value. Shameless plug for our capabilities, but
Well, we
hey,
are the
whatever
problem
works.
solvers, though, right? So, and
Absolutely, and like you said, Andrew, we have a process that's I'm not going to say it's ironclad, but I'll tell you, it gets us pretty close, pretty quick at these clients, and as you said, we do enjoy doing exchange migrations for people as
absolutely,
well.
I don't think there's a whole heap of them left in the world, but the ones that are left are probably a little bit more complex than some of the straightforward ones, right? Because there's probably a reason that a corporation or an organization, for whatever reason, hasn't jumped into cloud yet.
And there's more coming. In a future episode, we can talk about the deprecation of Exchange 2013, which is coming here in the next 4 months, and that's going
It
to cause
is.
a whole heap of additional work. But on that note, Andrew, where can we find you online?
Well, you can find me at azuretracks.com and at azuretracks at most social media things. And Ryan, what about you? Where can we find your great articles?
Yeah, awesome. The blog is located at www.mscqf.com. On Twitter, I'm at sign MSCQF. And on LinkedIn, SoundCloud, and YouTube, I can be found at the full thing Microsoft Cloud Quick Fix.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, as usual, I said, let's keep it to 5 minutes, and here we are more than doubling that. So, it's an IT
Perfect.
5 minutes, folks. It'll be fine. So,
Exactly.
thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for sticking it out to the bitter end. Ryan, thank you, of course, for joining me again. Really love having you on, and love having that knowledge, especially the depth of knowledge around Exchange and M365. I just want to say thank you because I know that I lean on you for support as well.
No problem, Andrew. Thank you very much. Glad to help.
Wonderful. So, thank you so much again for joining us, and have a fantastic day. Bye for now.